Hey Vsauce, Desert here, and parasocialism is bad. But what is bad and where does it stem from? To be bad is to be evil. The latter of which is the result of a surplus of good. Greed is the seed which leads to evil, and consumerism is that sickness which manifests as greed. Or is it? Our story begins in the year 1600. The successor to the Catholic Church, Pope Clement VIII, makes the holy decision to sanction coffee and bless the bean by baptizing a single brown seed. What, was he fucking stupid? Anyway, some other shit happens, which leads us to today, where one Christian anime woman is making a living selling her coffee to thousands worldwide. That's Leah from Phase Connect.
I'm Leah.
But I'm getting ahead of myself. The prospect of what I suppose you could describe as consumable merchandise was pretty appealing to me, so when I saw that Phase was shilling coffee and it was actually in stock, I figured why not give it a try. I'm not biased one way or the other, so I grabbed a bundle of the first English-speaking members, along with a bag of Clara's roast because I just like Clara. I certainly don't like my coffee black though, so I'll be making frappes out of these, light enough that the flavor of the coffee still comes out on top. Let's start with Tenma. She's got herself a dark roast, which is characterized by being oily and brewing very fast. This means we need to keep the beans fairly coarse when grinding, so the final result isn't over-extracted. In a similar fashion, we don't want to pour totally boiling water in our grind, otherwise we'll lose out on the flavor and end up with something that tastes burnt and ashy. I don't think anybody actually gives a fuck about this. What about the drink? How does it fit Tenma? Well, her page mentions she's someone that loves masculine vibes or macho. Okay. What does that look like?
Anything I give to you must be perfect.
Don't sniff.
I should put them into my folder.
Okay. My next question is this chick special? Now, I understand. When I was 13, I had 0 hoes and had to rely on my precious goon folder. Now, I'm no longer a coon-brained idiot, but there's a staggering number of people out there who continue to relentlessly beat their one-eyed snake into oblivion, often to material that would justify crucifixion were public execution still legal. Now, is this so bad? Probably not, but some would consider this a gateway goon. Next thing you know, horses. I'd say there's a defining point where you know things have gone too far. Like, goodness gracious, I knew this kid in middle school and he and his brother shared a Brazzers account and they acted like it was totally normal. But even back then I knew something was off. Not because they were on the same account, but because they were paying for that shit. Once the bank gets involved, I don't know if there's any coming back. And now she's spending on gacha, like really that's the same thing. That's why you gotta be a free-to-play Chad, like me. Here, check out this sick pull. Oh. What the fuck is this? Okay, so this might be due to the influence of what's stated on the Phase Connect store, but it does feel very dark. Oh fuck, that's super boring. This roast works better as an espresso since it's got a deep taste to it that feels really great to gulp down. That's super gay too. It's pretty bitter, but in a good way, especially in a frappe. Really stands out despite the copious amounts of milk in there. But that's just how I like my coffee.
Oh, minasan, ohayo! Didn't notice you there. It is me, Cherry Blossom Cooking, back at it again with another Phase Connect special. This time, it's Kaminari-san from Phase Kaleido. But what good is a woman's brew if we don't get to know her personality first? Kaminari-san is a hafu. That means she's half white and half Japanese. Very nice. Why don't we take a look at one of her exotic streams in action?
This shit is completely wrong. First off, Clara is not a hafu, as if that's an appropriate term to use. She's actually quite the caucasoid. This moron also thinks sexual humor passes the bar for high-quality entertainment. It doesn't. It's actually disgusting. It's a huge brand risk, and frankly, I'm wondering how the fuck she's still employed at all. Whoever approved this, I hate you. I swear though, this girl is a bona fide gooner. This character AI stuff is an actual epidemic. You guys think I'm joking. You know why chuds subscribe to OnlyFans? They want that connection, thinking they're talking to the girl on screen whole time, though it's Rajesh from New Delhi. But here Clara's actually ERPing with the real Loki. I mean, he's not a real person, but that's exactly why this is as real as it can be. I could keep going, but I think the fact that she plays Final Fantasy XIV speaks for itself. Now hold your horses. I also liked XIV. I was pretty fond of my scholar build, and before you ask, yes, I did play as the bunny girl. Not because I'm gay or anything, but more so because I don't feel the need to self-insert. And the more I think about it, I realize it's actually way more gay to meticulously design the ideal man you want to play as. That's right, you, as a man, are self-inserting into another man. How is that not the gayest thing you've ever heard? Now listen, I'm not saying it's gay to have an ideal to work towards, that'd be silly. I'm also not saying it's gay to work out, or put more effort into fashion, start painting your nails, and letting your girlfriend fuck you with a strap, but none of this matters when the game itself fucking blows! You can say whatever you want, oh wait till you get to Heaven's Ward, but that's the equivalent of saying the game only sucks dick for like 70 hours, and then they have the gall to tell you can pay up to skip to the good parts. What am I, at Magic Kingdom? What's the point of paying just to skip the whole experience? You know what? Why don't I just pay Square Enix to find a guy to fuck my wife for me? In fact, why don't FaZe just scrap their coffee project and start selling flavored caffeine pouches for $35 plus $9 extra? Maybe then everyone will be so happy to get a new excuse to say, I sure wonder how these girls are gonna taste. Oops, could have worded that better. Yeah, I don't really know how to say this, but you should probably kill yourself. Clara's coffee's marked as a fruity bean, but I don't really see it, and I think that's for the best. It's plain, smooth, and goes down nicely. I feel that self-described ashy flavor here. I think it's the most neutral of the batch I received, and that's not because I'm drinking it black. You see, I eventually realized that due to the metric tons of milk I was pouring in there, I could hardly make out the flavor of the actual coffee, so I had to try everything black afterwards anyway, and that's what I'm basing my reviews off of. But you know, a review consists of the entire experience, so I want to touch on the marketing for a minute. The packaging's charming in how simplistic it is. The sleeves depict the girls alongside a stock hand holding a cup drawing, which I feel kind of cheapens the package by virtue of being a reused asset. Ideally, they'd commission a new artist to create renditions of all the girls specifically for the coffee packaging. Nah, that's too crazy. Unless... Oddly enough, my bags didn't come with the Told by Tales coffee label on them, and Daddy wasn't very happy about that. Now, you don't want to see Daddy when he's angry, so I'll use this as an excuse to rag on the communication on the site. Now, I really do hate to say it, but the grammar here is totally fucked! This is the case for almost every roast to varying degrees, and I don't understand how this is such a prevalent issue. You can just use GPT if you're trying to save money that badly. Or you know, just hire me. No, I'm just kidding. Daddy doesn't need any handouts. Unless... Uruka's packaging is more unique compared to the rest of the batch. I'm a big fan of the saturated green on blue here, but she's got her face plastered all over the cutout in what I assume was meant to demonstrate her personality. But I don't really get it, cause all I hear about Uruka is that she's allegedly gay in some flavor of Asian. Not to lump them all together, cause God knows they all look the same, but I can see how strict Asian parenting would lead you to becoming socially gay, and if you went to an all-girls school, then just forget about it. But she's not actually gay, right? I mean, this is clearly a grift to deflect from the boyfriend allegations. So she's gay for pay, which I can respect. But my problem is, all I seem to see about Uruka is gay, 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 gay now. I understand this is partly the Clippers' faults, because they're mentally children and only react to words with sexual connotations, like French press and feet. It really is strange to me though how it's an infinite money glitch to say, oh, I'm gay, and oh, doesn't that rod look nice and thick, and like that's a free $200 from the sheer power of your words. You're like the weeaboo whisperer. You fool. You desert. We are actually the true Chads for making it rain and therefore supporting our Othi's lifestyle. You can donate. Hell, you can buy merch like this to support your favorite creators. I just feel like it should be for a healthy reason. I'm not quite convinced that even exists, but everything in moderation, you know? Like jerking off. My god, that is a loud esophagus. This one tastes kind of fruity, or a bit chocolatey. Actually, I checked her page afterwards and they do mention the chocolate flavor, so yeah, I wasn't just imagining it. I think Uruka's might be my favorite of the entire batch, which was surprising, but I guess that's a lesson in not judging a book by its cover. The one thing I've learned about Leah through cultural osmosis is that she's Catholic, so I have to assume she's kneeling to Clement VIII on the daily. Yeah, that was a real story. See? It says right here, there was opposition to coffee as Satan's drink, leading to the Pope's advisors asking him to denounce the beverage. However, upon tasting coffee, Pope Clement declared, "Why, this Satan's drink is so delicious that it would be a pity to let the ops have exclusive use of it. On baby." What? I don't know if the Rinkous have a history of Catholicism in the family or if this is just the nature of living in America, but I also didn't really care because either way, I thought it appropriate to bless her drink with some holy water.
What?
Oh, what the fuck? So there's this meme that goes something like, if you showed this to a Victorian-era child, their mind would instantly explode. And they're referring to like the triple bypass burger at Heart Attack Grill. Turns out you can get pretty close to experiencing that today by introducing VTubers to a frat guy. Honestly, I was surprised. He really took a liking to Leah. But I was already feeling concerned. Why the fuck is he watching FaZe Connect clips on a Sunday morning? Shouldn't he be praying to Jesus at church right about now? Anyway, a good friend would have replied with an inquisitive, open-ended question to connect. But I'm a great friend, so I just tried to get him to stop texting me. Like, I'm down to have this conversation, I think, but you know, wrong time, wrong place, and he was also a little too enthusiastic about it, which really gave me the ick. I felt a little bad afterwards, so I checked in on him a few hours later, like, hey man, how's it going? Well, it's safe to say he's fucked. I wasn't interested in entertaining his cuckolding liberal agenda, but he wouldn't stop comparing me to this girl, saying I'm just like her. My Jewish side started acting up like maybe I should sue for stealing my likeness, but I had to confirm if he was right first. I decided to take matters into my own hands and performed a little online sleuthing, but what I found will shock you.
Daddy, please, you won't stop coming.
Disgusting was my first thought. My second thought was maybe he was right. I had enough of being distracted, so I was left with no choice but to leave Brad to deal with his girl problems himself. So, the water, well, I went to get it, but there was one small problem, which was, this was the only shit they had there.
This one's really good.
Actually, it was just okay. Leah's coffee is described as having floral and fruity undertones, which I believe come through in that sour tinge it seems to have. But that also might have just been the trace amounts of shit in the water. The base is still bitter, cause you know, it's coffee, so it ends up feeling like an odd mix to me. It's also there in the aftertaste, which I didn't find particularly appealing, but this is purely subjective, and I've seen others regard this flavor as one of the best, along with Nasa and Michiru's. Pippa gets a bad rap amongst a certain crowd, and I think that's pretty unfair. They'll call her things like Pipkin Pippa, VTuber Asmongold, the 4chan VTuber, the r/4chan VTuber, Griftkin Grifta, Walmart Pekara, Slopkin Sloppa, Leech, and Chud. But you know what? If it's so easy, why don't you do it yourself? I do think this is a surface level interpretation of her streams though. Now I'm not claiming to be the biggest fan, I'm more of a tourist than anything, but even I can appreciate how inquisitive she is about people and the more mundane aspects of life in general. If I could use a word to describe her, it would be Hugo. Yeah, that's a good one. I watched that collab with her and Jelly. They were playing that new Pixelmon thing. That was pretty cozy. So that's another aspect of hers. She really likes Pokemon. I bet she wanted to have sex with that Grovyle from Mystery Dungeon.
Smash, smash, smash.
Oh yeah, see, there's some added zest to that one, that's how you know. That's crazy, when you're a boy you don't notice any of this shit. Like at least for us the fan service was blatant. Girls had to do some covert ops type shit. Like let's go back to when I was 13. I'm watching High School DxD. Rosario plus Vampire, Kill la Kill, High School DxD New, High School of the Dead, The Irregular at Magic High School, Danmachi, Valkyrie Drive Mermaid, High School DxD Born, Tolovru, High School DxD Hero. How many fucking seasons of this are there? Amabri and Date Alive. It's no mystery, you know why I'm indulging in this. But then I'll sit down to watch some Osomatsu-san because I thought it was funny, but apparently this is a Fujo show? So for those who don't know, every chick who watches this has the one guy they want to fuck. Like that's the reason they watch it. Which is just fucking ridiculous. And it's not like they're not aware. They know what they're doing is an affront to God. Now you might be thinking, Desert, isn't this actually more mature and tasteful than when you were watching those harlots bounce around with their unrealistic double DxD sized chests, nipples protruding, ruining young men's minds and perceptions of women worldwide? And my answer to that is maybe. For Pippa, I'll say Colress is a fine choice, you know, if it had to be somebody. I liked Colress too. The fight, the music, the story, but that was just the game, you know? I don't get the obsession with his anime incarnation. He sounds like he touches people inappropriately. And speaking of touching, he's voiced by Kerbifer. Why the fuck is she watching the English dub anyway? What is she oh, this shit is 12 years old? She was probably watching it in 3-minute chunks on YouTube or some shit like that, my bad. Regardless, she's known for being the contrarian. When she tried her coffee herself, she described it as, and I quote, tastes like fucking hotel coffee. Tastes like hotel coffee left in the room for 6 years. Doesn't taste good at all. Tastes like vomit and still bread and tastes like shit. So surprise, surprise, when I tried it myself, it was actually just okay. I've never drank hotel coffee, so I don't have a point of comparison, but it is pretty tangy, which I quite liked. I think I get where the idea that this tastes spoiled comes from if you're just used to the sugary stuff. By no means does it taste expired, it's actually quite good. But don't take it from me. Listen to what this guy has to say.